Hello, everybody. I'm so sorry I am very late, but I am here now. Let's activate this camera. Yeah, there she uh, mm-mm, mm-mm. Don't wanna show myself here. There, see. Maybe this side. Oh, turn off half. What day is it now? Day 9. Oh, you TikTok. Hi guys, can you hear me? This is a side project, so it's not part of App Academy. It's a side project that I thought you guys would enjoy doing as well. Uh, but we'll quickly go through last week's, finish it up, and then okay, my live TikTok. Just gonna check because I shouldn't pay. Okay, perfect. Yo, 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 TikTok. Can you guys hear me? Why do I feel like it's delayed? Okay, no, it's fine. It's perfect. Um, YouTube, am I good? Can you guys hear me? Okay, I'll give just a few minutes. Yes, so we'll be doing the what is it? That's Pine City Zoo quickly, finishing it off where people are stuck, and then we move on to this. Then yeah, you'll download the PDF. Oh, sorry. How do I download the PDF? I'll show you in a second. Give me 2 seconds. The link that directs to, huh? The link directs me to week 2 CSS lesson. Which link? The one on very 100,000 tonton guys. 100,000 tonton. A 7 so totally 100,000. Oh yeah, that's very old. I'll fix it. I just use the same settings. I think that's why. Okay, let me quickly create the QR code for this PDF. Can you hear me now? Am I audible? This is for YouTube. QR. What's happening here? Oh, I'm audible. Okay, perfect. Can you just upload and get up? Are we doing that again? I thought we'll quickly finish up last week or this week's lesson. I can try. I hardly have time. All honestly, I hardly have time. So if it's going to be very tricky. No, I have. It's just a matter of setting up. Laziness. Hope it's not too big to disturb us. So the QR code on YouTube. Mm, yeah, the QR code on YouTube. If you can scan that, that will be the PDF. Oh, but no, YouTube can get a link. Forgot about that. They can get a link actually. PDF. And then on TikTok, I'll put the QR code on my. Thank you for the follow. YouTube, does the link work? Is it big enough? TikTok, that's not the right link. I'm trying to update the picture there. Very cool. Yes, yes. If you are very serious, then 100%. 100%. It's a matter of discipline. Mm. Where can we put it? Corner at the top. Up there. Yeah, I think that works. I'm from Gauteng. The link works perfect. Okay. You'll notice there's some like blank pages. Just yes, it's a PDF. You'll notice there's some blank pages, but yeah, I'm not a PDF person. We just created. Where can that come? I can pop up the bottom there, top there. Perfect. Okay, are we ready? Are people able to download the PDF? Let me just show it here also. Yeah, it's not necessarily 77 pages. It's because of the spacings. So the spaces there was the problem. Okay, this is the link to download. Can you guys just download the PDF? Then we can get started. God, it's how much? I think it's 17 lessons. Is it 17? 21 lessons. And we finished 10 quite quick. I think this the sorry. The only problem with this, it has JavaScript this time, so huh, I don't know how it's gonna be for you guys because it's JavaScript now. What tech stack are you using for the e-commerce website? The tech stack I'm using, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Let me try and open it this side also. No backend at the moment. We're still doing um basic. We're still doing basic, and then we'll do, yeah, VS Code will be fine. I should have posted a video to say we're doing this today. I'm not serious. Oh, guys, on YouTube, we finally have the super chat stuff. So, what is it? Yes, there's JS. There's JS. Yes, so we've got membership now. So if you guys would love to be a member, there's different levels. You can go through that. It's not a must, it's not a need, but yeah. And then there's also uh super chat stuff. What is it? Somewhere there. Oh yeah. These. So we've got super chat as well. So yeah, Sesam, we're trying. Webcam frame is too small. No, we won't focus. Nice. It's there now. We did it for you guys. Okay. What are you using? I did answer, yeah. Someone said the webcam is too small. But I don't you shouldn't be focusing on me. Focus more on on the screen. If I could remove myself here, I'd rather just even remove myself. That's not working today. Can we get started? Yeah, I was still sitting up. Ew. Time I was ready, but I was not ready. Okay, let's first go through. Yes, sessions are recorded and posted on YouTube. They recorded and posted on YouTube. Where are we going? What is it, week 3? Have you guys downloaded? The QR code is on the screen, the top. Level what? What's that? Oh, Finest. Thank you, Finest. Thank you so much, Finest. This is the QR code. You can just download the PDF, but we'll go through it together. This is the QR code. Okay. Why is this taking forever? I'm estimating if we can. I don't understand. I don't really think we need to do this because we were done, unless there's questions. But if we can do questions for like 10-15 minutes, then we move. And then we can finish the first. Trying to see how many lesson on. I feel like we can get to lesson 10, if not 15. No, we won't have a payment gateway yet. But yeah, no, we can get to 9. But now, once we get to 9, it's gonna hit a bit with the JavaScript. It's gonna hit a bit with the JavaScript. So I'll have to explain a lot in the JavaScript side. But cool, I think we can start. So okay, wait. Can people ask questions based on week 3, lesson 10 to 21? Can we let the submit button to the feedback page? Can we click submit button? I'm guessing that's on feedback. So what do you want to link it to? You want it to have a message received um page. Yeah, I also think let's start with this new thing because it would be better we just start because we already did everything. The only problem was just people adding the same files again over and over again. But we were done with the entire lesson from start to finish. So I suggest we just start with the ecom so we can at least finish. Millie's asking about the feedback submit button. Let me do that. I can keep hearing myself. Um, all right. So I was saying, if you guys can download the PDF, that QR code at the top, that's the PDF for the e-commerce. I didn't even add one more source. And then we're going to create a new project. So we'll start with GitHub, and this thing will start from GitHub, and we'll keep doing commits so that you guys can have some commits on your profile. But for you, Melly, just note that message received must be a new file. So you just need to create a new file where you say thank you for your message, and then that's all. That's why it's not linking to anything. Are we all sorted? Have you downloaded the PDF? Starting afresh. Yo, no, yo. afresh is afresh is a bit much because we are very far. So I suggest you go to my YouTube or FNB App Academy and then watch the lessons as well as my YouTube lessons. Uh, they should help you get up to speed very quickly. Yeah, no, let's start the new project. Let's just start the new project. We're done with Pine City. Start the new project. Mm, okay, let's close this folder. Okay, so hope people have downloaded the PDF. Should be done with that. Looking for the PDF itself. Yes, we're doing an e-commerce site. Uh, I would I'm sure I would like to know the pineapple where I should build. Ooh, where did you get phone gap? Adobe phone gap? I don't know, you got phone gap. Okay, guys, we starting now. We're starting now. So we're now on step one. We're setting up our project, right? But what we'll do is we'll go to GitHub. So let's open up our GitHub desktop. Let's open up our GitHub desktop. Oh, wait. What's happening? Why are we waiting? This is actually very disturbing. Prince, are you sorted? Can we start? How do you download the PDF? The PDF is at the top. The QR code. I don't know where I'm pointing. Yeah, the QR code. Can download there. It's obstructing. Okay, I'll try and make it a bit bigger. I'll make the QR code bigger quickly. Oh, that's very small actually. Okay, here's the QR code. You can quickly try and scan it. Yeah, I'll okay. I'll think I'll do that also. We'll add it to the we'll add it to the repo. We'll do. Prince, are you sorted now? Got it. Okay. Everyone else got it. Can we start? If you can't, it's at the top, but we'll also add it to the repo. So let's just do the repo and then we'll add it to. Perfect. Prince, are you sorted? Funi, the PDF is on the QR code that you see on the screen, bottom left on YouTube. Thank you, Mandy. Welcome back with the roses. Thank you so much, Mandy. Okay, so yes, please make sure you've got GitHub Desktop. Please make sure you have GitHub Desktop. Are there any first timers here? Are there any first timers? This this was too big on the screen. What says this again? Thank you for the follow. Yes, GitHub Desktop. Oh no, she didn't take it. She didn't take it. We're downloading GitHub Desktop. GitHub. So it's GIT hub. GitHub. GitHub Desktop. Done. Okay. So we're getting started, right? So the first thing you need to do is please make sure you'll click on, yes, this will be recorded. This will be recorded and posted. Supposed to go every day, but yeah, it depends. It depends, especially if I'm maybe a bit busy or I'm tired. Yeah, but almost every day. The recording will be available on YouTube. Okay, I'm getting started now. So the first thing we need to do, we'll click on File and click on New Repository. Okay, click on File and then click on New Repository. So the repository name, if we go back to our PDF, the name we're naming this site Tech Vibe. You can name it whatever you want, but we are naming it Tech Vibe. Okay, so we'll name this Tech Vibe. So we can go back to GitHub and give this the name Tech Hub. Just like that. This is a beginner ecom website. Then click on initialize this repo with a readme. Please make sure you click on that and make sure where your repo will be saved is under development or under your documents. So wherever you've been saving your stuff, make sure it's on its own so that it's not in Pine City Zoo or in whatever we did. It must be on its own. So we'll have it under development. We'll have this under development. Then we can click on select folder. Okay. So now this will select that folder and create. Okay, you can call it tech underscore hub because the double H is there. So just say tech underscore hub. And then we'll have this is a beginner. If you want a description, you do not have to add a description. Then select where you want to save the repo locally. So it's where you want to save the folder. Okay, the folder of the file of the project. Then you'll click on create repository. Create repository. You'll click on create repository after filling everything in. After filling everything in, you'll click on create repository. Okay, now that we're done, what I'll do is I'll just add this PDF first quickly into it. You do not have to do this. I'm just adding it for other people to be able to download if they can't access the QR code. Okay, so once we're done with that, okay, you should have seen that button that says push to origin. So I'm gonna quickly adding PDF. Oh, it just commented on its own. That's crazy. Let's commit this file quickly. Okay, there we go. So you'll see this that says publish your repo to GitHub. So we'll click on publish repository and make sure you're under github.com, not enterprise. Make sure you're under github.com and not enterprise. Then make sure the name is still the same as what we named it there. Keep it as what it is and make sure it's not selected for private so that it's a public repo for anyone to see. If you want it private, go ahead, keep it private, but we want this to be public so whoever looks at our Banele, what did you say? So that whoever looks at our repository can see this project. Banele, I didn't see your message. Let me see. Or did you send me a message on TikTok or on emails? Okay, cool. Let's continue. Click on publish repository. Then it's gonna start pushing our code to GitHub, okay? So it's going to push our code to GitHub, create a repo online, and then we can get started. So the first step is done. It's so that we know our initial files are already on GitHub and we can start doing commits as we make changes. So we can say after lesson 1, we do a commit and push it. After lesson 2, we do a commit and push it. Lesson 3, we do a commit, so on and so forth, okay? That's what we want to do. Nobody. I'm sorry. All right, now that we're done, let's quickly go check our GitHub. So let's see if our repo is actually there. So we'll open up our GitHub. There we go. There's our repo, Tech Hub, and we've got our 2 commits. So I have 2 commits because this was the initial commit and I added a second commit. So you'll just see 1 commit with your README and your Git attributes. Okay. So once we're done with that, we sorted. Anyone who wants to download the PDF can access it on my GitHub page. So on my GitHub page, it will be there. The PDF will be there, so you can just clone the repo and get the PDF. Let's continue. So let's see. It says step 1. We need to Banele. Where did you send your message? Okay, it says step 1. We need to create our folders and files, right? So these are all the files. Yo, make sure it's private, especially if it's an app that you know you want to make money from. So if you are making an app for clients as an example, or an app you know you want to make money from and you don't want it to be open source, make it private. If you do, wait, now where do I go build this website? WordPress, because I use no, we're writing the code ourselves. Shante Shantain, I think. We're doing it ourselves, so we're coding it ourselves. Cool. So BQ, please make sure if it's an app you're making for a client, it must be private unless they allow you to have it open source for anyone to see. And then projects that you want to be under your portfolio for anyone to see, make them public. So that's the two differences. Private, you make sure it's private because you it's gonna be a bit hard for you to actually start now because we did you need to have VS Code. You need to download VS Code and then you need to download GitHub desktop. And if you can go to YouTube, I think this one you might have to catch it later because when we can't go over the entire setup of GitHub and VS Code again. It is available on the YouTube channel, so you can quickly watch that and then can continue. But it will be recorded, it will be available on YouTube after the lesson. So it's not gonna be it's not gonna run away. So don't worry about that. Okay guys, so we just need to create these files. So we already have our initial folder, okay? We have our initial folder, so let's quickly go to oh I see. Okay, yeah, I'll try to send it to you, but as soon as the lesson ends, it will be available immediately. As soon as the lesson ends. Okay, cool. So guys, we need to open up that folder we just created. So click on open folder and mine is under documents and development. So we are opening Tech Hub. So click on open. Okay, then we've got our repo open here, our project. So as it said here, we need to have these files created. So we need to have these files created. So we need index, product, cart, checkout, contact, style, script, and images folder. So let's do that together. So the first one we need to create, as always, is your index.html. We'll do the images together. I actually did not package or even download the images on this machine, so quickly do them together. But don't worry about images for now. So we'll create index.html, okay, and then just create a new folder called images, and you can leave it like that. Then the next one we need to create is products. Let me just zoom in a bit. I think it should be, yeah, it's a bit disturbing there. On TikTok, it is disturbing there. That should work. Y'all don't really have to see me like that. Okay, cool. So we just create images folder. We created index.html. Now we'll create products. Products.html. Products.html. Okay, and then the next one we need to create is cart. So this is our cart.html. So cart. Thank you so much, Eldin. Cart.html. Okay, then we have checkout.html, and then we have contact.html. Then we've got style.css. So create your style.css. Then we'll create our script.js. So script.js is our JavaScript file. So those are the files we've created, and we're basically done with our project files. Okay, so the reason we do this is so we organize our projects. So we can't have everything under index.html. We'll have some things under products because there'll be a products page, we'll have a contact page, a checkout page, a cart page. So everything must be separate. And our style is also on its own and not within the CS, not within the actual file, as well as the script.js. Okay. Now all we have to do let's commit this because we're done. So once we're done creating the files, let's go to our um, GitHub desktop and we'll see all our files there. Okay, so we can name this lesson 1 creating empty files. So we're committing everything now. So we're doing our first commit. We've done lesson 1 creating our empty files. Once you're done with that, just commit to main, and then you can push origin. You're not that late. We just started with lesson 1. The PDF is at the top there in the QR code, so you can open that PDF, and then we just created the files for now. So I hope everyone is done. We've now committed our files. If you had version control locally, you'd have green, but don't worry about that because we're using GitHub desktop. Okay, now they're all created. Okay, and now we need to create our basic HTML structure. So that's lesson 2. Are we still together? We're now by lesson 2. I think let's just continue. Okay, still following, yeah, perfect. What's that? Okay, perfect. Yeah, cool. Let's continue. So let's go to our index.html, index.html, okay? And then we'll create our first HTML structure. So HTML, and we want to choose HTML5. Want to choose HTML5. Then there we go. We've got HTML5 created. Again, this is just so our characters show up correctly. And then this is for mobile devices so that it's responsive on mobile devices. I researched the correct terms for these. We're just doing a tech basic e-commerce site. Okay, so the first thing, let's create our title. The title is Tech Vibe. So this is our web or homepage. So you could call it home if you want. So we know that this is our homepage. Yeah. Now the next part, we need to create our nav bar. We need to create our nav bar. So to create our nav bar, we've got a file or a tag called nav. Okay, this tag nav will have a class nav bar. Okay, let's close this. Yeah, so we'll have a class nav bar and then done. So now we've created our nav bar, but it now needs content within the nav bar. All right, so to do that, we'll add a div, and this div will be our nav container. So all we're doing here now is, in a website or in a shopping website, you'd see there at the top they'd have home, shop, products, all of those different tabs. We want to create that ourselves where we have our different tabs on the website. So that's what the nav bar is. So just remember, the nav bar is like your heading. It's the that navigation bar. So they've shortened it to nav. So navigation bar. Okay, we together, right? So now in this navigation bar, if we had a logo created, we would have added an image here, but we don't have a logo created, so we'll just have an h2 called tech vibe. We forgot the class name. Yeah, so this would be, if we had a logo, we'd add our logo here and still give it the same class, but we can still give tech vibe the class logo and we'll do some styling to it. Okay, hope we still together. All right, then now we want an unordered list. So the reason we're doing an unordered list is because once we get an unordered list, we're going to have bullet points. And then from those bullet points, we're going to style it so that all the lists items are next to one another. So when you look at a nav bar, you should know that that's just list items that are formatted to be next to one another. So we're just having a UL. We'll have our list items, which will be our tab names or tab links, and they'll be right next to each other. So home, products, so on and so forth. So inside here, okay, firstly, we need to give this a class, and this class will be nav menu. Please don't forget, if you still joined now, the QR code is the PDF, and on YouTube it's on the bottom left, TikTok's on the top right. Okay, cool. So we've added our class. So basically saying that this list is called nav menu. So we're gonna be able to make changes to this nav menu, okay? Then we want to add some list items. So the list items are basically our tabs. So how many list items do we have? One, two, three, four. So a shortcut I've showed us before is you can just type li times 4. Then it will create 4 list items for us. So we've got 4 list items, and in those list items, we want to have hyperlinks. So the first hyperlink will take us to our index. Hey, but I think this will confuse people. Let's not do it like that. Okay, so we'll add our first list item, right? Then inside our list item, we need a hyperlink. What's the hyperlink? That's gonna be when someone clicks on it, it takes them somewhere. Remember, someone clicks on it, it takes them somewhere. So after creating our A, we'll add an href, and we want this one to take us to index.html. Thank you for the follow. And this will be called home. Okay, this will be called home. So we're done with our first list item. That shortcut again. So the shortcut is whatever tag you want to use times the amount of times you want it. So I can say li times 2, it will create 2 for me. Click enter, it will create 2 for you. If you wanted 4, just say li times 4. So it works with any tag. So even h2 or whatever, h2 times 5, it will create 5 h2s. That's just a nice shortcut. Cool, so we created our first list item. Let's just copy this one and paste it 4 times. So we pasted it 4 times. So I just copied, then I pasted it 4 times. So all we'll do is we'll edit this to be products. Okay. Then we add this one as contact, and this one will be cart. Okay. So cart will have a number. This will tell you how many items are in the cart. So we'll get to that shortly. Let's change this to products.html. Change this one to contact.html, and then change this one to cart. Okay, then this cart needs to have its class. Okay, the hyperlink needs to have a class because we need to do something to it. If you want to use Bootstrap, yes, but we want to use pure CSS because we want you guys to get used to CSS before we move to Bootstrap. If you know how to use it. Right now, we're going to be using CSS. It's a good skill to have. Okay, class, and then this will be our cart link. So cool. Just like that, we are finished with our navigation bar. So this is our navigation bar. So let's open and see how it looks so far. So let's open up our index.html and see how it looks. Okay, there we go. So we've got our tech vibe and we've got our um tabs, right? So if I had to click on this, it would take me to products. Products has nothing yet. If I click on this, it takes me to contact, still has nothing, and cart will take me to cart, which also has nothing. Cool. So now we're done. But remember, we haven't done CSS yet, so obviously it will still look a very bare bone, right? So we're done with that. Hope everyone is still together. We can continue. Are we together? I hope we are. I'm gonna continue. If I see a no, then I'll stop. Cool. So now we want to create our hero section. So this will be like that big banner, on like Puma's website. Puma's website, you'd see them showcasing a list of different products. So they'll be showcasing different products. So we're gonna just have something that will just give us a heading on of our site. So we'll give it a section and have a class. This is called our hero. So whenever you hear hero, just know that's just the big heading or header on your website, or big what's this, banner. Okay, cool. We're done with that. We create a section with the class hero. Then we'll have a div. We'll have a div with the class called hero content. So we have a div with the class called hero content. So right now all we're doing is we're just naming our divs as well as our sections so that we can style them later on. All right. Now we'll add an h1. In this h1 we'll say welcome to Tech Vibe. All right. Welcome to Tech Vibe. If you gave it a different name, you can say welcome to whatever you named it. And then um electronics. Okay, so you can add just a description there. You can use a description in the PDF, but just add a description there. And then we'll add a hyperlink. So this will be our button. So we'll add a hyperlink. This will take you to products.html, and then just give it a class btn. So btn stands for button. You could put button if you want to be more specific. And I so I'm saying your hero is like you're not necessarily your header, but that top section. So just think of it as the big banner that you'd see on your site. Okay, cool. And then this button, whatever you want to name the button. So we want that when someone sees this hero section, when someone sees this hero section, they will see a button that will allow them to do something. So we'll say shop now. Okay. Right. Now this is our section done. Let's just go see how it looks. There we go. So we've got our nav bar and we've got our hero. So when someone clicks on this, it takes them to products.html. But we're gonna style it so that it looks a bit better. Okay, so we're done with that section, and now we just want to show featured products. Okay, so you will see in the PDF there's also there is there's comments. So if you want to add comments so you can separate your stuff, you can do that. But yeah, we're just gonna follow this. Any questions so far? Are we still together? I hope we're still together. Let's continue. So let's add another section. We're still together. Cool. This section will be featured. I'm waiting for the CSS part. Yeah, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. This will be featured. Then let's add a div. Okay. Give it a div, and this will be our container. Then we'll just add an H2, featured products. So this will just be a heading to show that we've got featured products here. Oh, we didn't close this. All right, then add a div. Uh, should I live? Ish, I'm live, unfortunately. Okay, cool. We'll add this as products grid. So we're basically saying that we're gonna have featured products here in a grid format. So we're just giving it the name product grid. Then have an ID. This ID is so we can use it in JavaScript. So the reason now we have a class and an ID together. The class will be what we'll be using to name or to style it in CSS. The ID will be what we're using to reference it in JavaScript. Okay, we'll be using the ID to reference it in JavaScript. Cool. So we'll add this as featured products. All right. Now, don't worry about adding anything here. Here will be empty because all our products will come from JavaScript. So we'll just say products will come from JavaScript. So I'll show you guys how that works. Yeah, so we're not gonna add any product here. So the JavaScript will deal with actually rendering our HTML, which would be products, into this specific div. Then it's just a way of showing how if we had an API, instead of manually entering the code here for each product, the JavaScript fetching from the API would enter or render all the code or all the products for you. That way it's dynamic and you not updating products manually all the time. Hope we're still together. So that is the featured section. Right now, if we go check it, where can I find the PDF, bro? No, I'm not adding a table. The reason I'm not adding is because I will add mock data in JavaScript to actually deal that for me. Where can I get the PDF? In the screenshot at the top. Why am I saying screenshot? In the QR code at the top. You can get the PDF there. QR code PDF top. What is the top right? Oh, thanks. On YouTube, is there a link to it? Yes, on YouTube, there's a link. YouTube, are you guys still good? I'm actually added to the description itself. Let's get it. PDF ecom. Okay, it's in the description. Yeah, on YouTube, it's in the description. So you can find it there. YouTube is cruising nicely. You're like cruising nicely. Okay, let's continue, guys. So we're done with this section. If we check it, you're gonna see obviously there'll be no products at the moment. It's just gonna show us featured products with nothing underneath it. So that's all we have right there. But we can continue. Now we just want to add a footer. So a footer is just the bottom strip of your website where you're just showing who's made the website or if it's copyrighted by a company, whatever. So footer can also contain contact information, sign-ups to newsletters, all those different stuff. So we'll have a simple footer. So you can just have footer class and we'll call this footer. Okay. And in footer, you'll just have a simple paragraph. So there's a code for the copyright symbol, it's and copy colon semicolon, and then we can just say 2025. Thank you so much for the Rose Lorato. Thank you so much. Okay, there we go. So we've got our copyright symbol and then 2025 by Tech Vibe, all rights reserved. Done. So that's very simple. Done. And we just need the last part. The last part is us adding um the script. So script will go in your body at the end. So not like when we're doing our CSS at the top, which I think we forgot, did we? I feel like we did. Yes, we didn't add our CSS. Cool. We'll add our script first. So there's a element called script. So this is to link your script, which is your JavaScript files. Okay. This is to link your JavaScript files. So you can just add script and then you say src meaning source and you say script.js. That's all you just need to add, just like that. Then here, let's quickly add our CSS. Cool. So we added our CSS at the top and then we added our script, which is our JavaScript at the bottom. Just gonna fix up my formatting here. Okay, perfect. We are now done. We're now done. So let's see some comments. I added down there for you guys to know what's what. Okay, so what I did in every lesson, added what everything is about. So we used HTML tags to create the structure because we know that already. These are comments. So this is how you create a comment. It helps us remember what each section is for. So you know, there's times where you've got big. Had to go check Teams to confirm if it's the same person. What do you mean? We're not using Tailwind, we're using CSS. But yes, if you know Tailwind, you can use it. We sorted. What do you mean? You have to check Teams. Okay, links will connect our pages. So links are all of these hyperlinks right here. So those connect all our pages. And then this ID, like I said, is for us to use JavaScript. So us to use to let JavaScript find the actual element. Okay. So now let's add some CSS. We're still together, everyone. We have to commit. We have to commit. So we just finished, right? We finished lesson 2. This was creating our structure for our index.html, our homepage. So let's go to GitHub desktop. I want you guys to get used to committing. So you have to keep committing all the time. So here we'll say lesson 2, creating homepage structure. All right, creating. Oh, thank you. We sorted. We made it the induction. Oh, oh, sorry. Tab. Uh, how far behind are you? Cool. So we've got lesson 2. Just create a commit message, and then commit one file to main. So that's the file we just created. Please make sure you've got no reds anywhere. There should be no red tags, meaning you've got errors somewhere. So just make sure you've got no red anywhere. Then we can continue. Are we building an e-commerce website? Okay, click on push to origin. So now we've done our commit. We're pushing section 2. Um, so I've got my own what's this website I use to generate QR codes. So I created my own QR code generator. We're using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, guys. Someone asked section 2. Here's section 1. This is it, right? Thank you so much, Biggie. Okay, can we continue? Um, I created a few apps. So if you check my LinkedIn, or not my LinkedIn, but that's a smart move. What is the website called? It's more internal for something else as well, so I can't really share it. But yeah, I created that. Um, Baba G, please just check my profile and then, yeah, because I don't want to waste people's time, but I'll get to that as well if you're still here. But if not, please just check my profile and all of that is there. Can you please repeat how to put this project onto GitHub? Yes, we started with GitHub. So can you please rewind? Because we'll be holding back everybody. So if you can just rewind, get to that part. The PDF is available in the link in the description. So you can just download the PDF. It's got the entire code. So we're just going through everything. If there's any questions, we go through the questions as we go. So right now we're on lesson 3. We're now on lesson 3. So we're trying to add CSS now. Okay, guys. I think we're continuing now. So let's continue. So we're done with index.html. Let's open up our CSS file. So our style.css. If you just joined, you can download the PDF on the QR code in the top right corner on TikTok. YouTube, it's in the description as well as the top left. Okay, cool. So now we're starting our CSS. Okay. So the first thing we always do, or most of the times we do, is we reset our entire browser styling. Are there links to the on my YouTube? All of the links, all of the lives are there on my YouTube. Cool. So this star means take every element and do something to it, right? So what we want to do is on the entire website, we want to reset any browser defaulted padding, margins, whatever. So we can just say margin 0 and we can say padding 0. Padding 0. Ish. Mm. Okay. And then we'll just add some box sizing here. All right. Cool. Now let's style our body. So we'll start with body, and then in our body we'll add a font family. So the font family we'll be using here is Arial, but maybe not Arial. Any font you want to use, we'll be using. I don't want Arial actually. No, it's fine. Let's go with Arial. Let's go with Arial. Thank you, your fave. Okay, then so line height is, when you're working on Microsoft Word document and you've got height, like spacing between each line. So we're just setting our own default spacing between each line. So we want our spacing to be 1.6. So that's the reason why we added this. We're adding a default spacing between each line on our web page. Okay. Then the color of our text, we'll have it as like a gray. That's our font color. Okay. Hope we're still following. Thanks so much for the follow, guys. Now let's style our container. So I hope I'm not too fast. You can still see. Let's style our container. So it's dot container, and then what we want to do is want to add this container to have a maximum width. So The maximum width for this container is 1200 pixels. No, this is it's like separate to help people get a portfolio onto their a a project onto their portfolio. So it's like a nice project to actually have on your portfolio if you are interested in taking coding or IT further. Okay, cool. So this is just saying that this container must maximize its width at 1200 pixels. Um, in most cases, sort of, but um, yes, there's sort of like a general. At the same time, you decide how you want to do it. So you decide. Oof, you decide to say that my container doesn't have a max width in this project. In another project it's got a max width, so it's not necessarily like a standard to say, hey, you need to always have a max width or you need to always have this and that. You are the styler, so you need to use everything available to you to get this styling to what you like to see. Do you have these lessons on you? Yes, they are available on my YouTube channel. Which IDE do you use? I'm using VS Code, but I normally code on WebStorm. Okay, let's add a margin auto and padding. Thank you for the follow. So this is just to make changes to, let's close these others here. So if you see here, we've got this container right here. So whenever we use container, it will make these changes to that container. So it's basically us saying we've got a standard for all the containers we'll have on our site. This would be it. We want all containers to max width of 1200 pixels, meaning if a screen is bigger than 1200 pixels, it will stop at 1200 pixels. And then you've got margin and padding. So you want 20 pixels padding inside, only on the left and right. Cool. Can we move on? Now we want to do the nav bar. So to do the nav bar, you can say dot nav bar. We named it nav bar, right? So basically what we're doing now is we're styling this right here. So we're styling this. So let's do dot nav bar. So the first thing we'll do is we'll give it a background color. The background color will be white, and then we'll have a box shadow. So the reason for the box shadow is so it can look elevated. So we're adding a box shadow to this so that it can look elevated. So 2 pixel, growing up 0. Okay. So I've explained this before. This is just a color with transparency. This is your x-axis effect, y-axis, and your blur radius. So this sayings that says basically I don't want it to move up or down. So just stay where you are. 2 pixels says I want you to move 2 pixels down. I mean to the left, sorry. 2 pixels to the left. Yes, VS Code. And then 5 pixels is you now defining your blur radius. So how blurry you want or how clear you want it to be. And this is the color. So 000 is a standard color code for black. And then 0.1 is the transparency. So if you want it to be less transparent or more transparent, on VS Code, you can change the slider here on the side. You'll see the numbers change if you put it up a bit more or less. So we just want it to be 0.1. Okay, that's what that means. Then the position of this nav bar, we want it to be fixed. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate you. And we want that it must be 0 from the top. So it will stay at the top at all times, right? We're not using sticky, but we are positioning it at the top. We want the width to fill up the entire screen, so we'll give it a width of 100%, meaning take up all available space from the sides. So when it starts, if your screen is 800 pixels, it will take up the entire width, 800 pixels. If it's now 2000 pixels, it will take up the entire width of 2000 pixels. That's why we're saying 100% instead of saying 200 pixels. It's not yes, hexadecimal. It's not predefining or limiting it to a certain width. So 100% is just you making sure that it's responsive to each and every screen size. Okay. Z index, I've explained Z index, but let's explain it again. So we're giving this a Z index of 100. You can give it 2 or 3 or whatever, because everything else will be on a Z index of 0. So when you think of Z index, think of 3D. You've got your X axis, Y axis, and Z axis. Z axis is kind of like your elevation. So you're saying in elements that are all at a Z index of 0, I want this element to be at a Z index of 100. So it's going to be above the rest. So if I had to take it negative, it will be below the rest because every element starts at a Z index of 0. So we are just putting it at 100. If you want 500, you can put it at 500. Look at the specs. You can check on as long as it's if it's Windows, just check if it's an i5, and then if you got money, i7. But i5 8 gig minimum, at least, that's ideal. Can I get water? That's ideal. But if not, then you can look at a 4 gig RAM will be a bit hectic, and an i3. Don't go to Celeron. So do not get, when it says Intel, Celeron, whatever. Don't go there. You'll cry. Okay, we're done with our nav bar. Let's see how it looks. So you see it, what it's done. It's added thank you. I have a simpler way. So I think the best, I don't know what other way I can explain it. Let me do it like this. Yeah. Think of these two. If you're on YouTube, right? Think of these two items, right? They are both on a Z index of 0 right now. This is our nav bar. If we take this nav bar and put it on a Z index of 100, it moves up 100, meaning it's above this. But now when you look at it from the side, it would look like this, meaning it's above it, right? And then if it's below it, set negative, this will now look like this. So the nav bar will be behind the elements. I hope that kind of clears it up a bit. So as you can see here, this nav bar is on a Z index of 100, and now it's behind all the other elements which are behind it. Hence why it's above everything else, and these are now below it. Got that? Okay, let's continue. Now let's work on our nav container. BQ, I hope you understood. Just let me know if you didn't. Now we're working on our nav container. Okay, we're working on our nav container. So our nav container is this div right here. So we're now working on this div. Okay, so on this div, we'll have a max width. give this a max width of 1200 pixels. So we want the container again to max out the same as our other container, 1200 pixels. Um, Margin 0 auto, and your padding, you wanted 0 20 pixels. Okay, then yes, that's much understandable. You can notice on my navbar. Perfect. As long as you understand it. Now, okay. Now we're adding display flex. So we want to have a display flex to be able to now play around with our items within our div, right? So we're giving it a display flex, and we're justifying our content center, I mean space between. So this now says in each element within this container, we want to space it in between. And then we want to align our items to the center. So all our items must be centered. Okay. And then we can give it a height, 70 pixels. Okay, so now what this is doing, we've got a max width, our margin and padding, we've sorted those. Then we're adding a display flex. Now we're gonna manipulate our elements within this container. We're spacing them between, so meaning add space in between each element, and then align all the items center. So if we've got 3 elements, it's gonna space them evenly between, and it's gonna make them center on their own um different elements. So we wanna align them center. Okay, let's go see how that looks right now. So there you go. You see, you've got now these two. So we've got our tech vibe, which is this side. So now we've got two. We've got how do I put it? We've spaced evenly our logo and our product or our list. So now we've got two items that are now spaced out evenly. So one is there, and they both centered. As you can see, they are centered both on their own. So if you had to put a line where my cursor is, if you can see where my cursor is, if you had to put a line there, if you had to put a line right there where my cursor is, you'd see that this side is equal to this side, and the elements are in the middle because they are now centered. That's what all that just did. Now we want to edit this logo right here. Okay, now let's go change the logo. We still together, right? If I move too fast, and I'm not hiding any code. Cool. Okay, let's go to logo. Okay, so for our dot logo, we'll give it a color. Let's give it a color, and hashtag, why does RGB hex start with 0 to, but RGX starts from 0 to 250? I will not lie to you, I do not know. I do not know. RGBA is RGB alpha, so it's your RGB plus the alpha code, which is your transparency, but I'm not sure why the ranges are different. Okay, let's continue. I'll check that for you just now. Yeah, I knew it. Yeah. So RGBA also goes to 255. Yeah, because it didn't make sense. Because RGB is literally RGBA, basically RGB plus A. So A is your alpha mode. It's just saying transparency. But if you're just saying RGB, it's RGB with no transparency. So hence why here it's RGB. If we had to remove the A, this should not be needed at all because we're just doing an RGB code, which still moves up to 255 to 55. And then if we add A, it still goes up to 255. Okay, let's continue. So with doing our logo now. I hope you answered Batu. Hope you answered and thank you for the follow. Um so we've added a color. This will be a blue color. So whatever color you want to choose, you can hover and change it however you want. So this is a hex code. So you can find hex codes online, or you can just write the color name. You can write the color name, hover over and change it. It will be in RGB this time. Okay. But if you put a hex code, you can still hover, change it, and it will also keep the same hex code or the hex code format for whatever color you want. Alrighty, let's continue. So we're gonna add a font size. Since we know our logo is text, so we'll just give it a font of 24 pixels. And yeah, let's see what that has done for us. Yeah, so we basically added a color and we adding font size. So we're changing the font size of the logo. So there we go. It's made it a bit smaller and made it blue. That's all we just did there. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Just checking YouTube. 45, 44. It says there's something with the audio. YouTube, you guys can still hear me, right? Testing 1 2. It's still fine. Consider turning down video settings. How am I dropping frames? So nice. Can you explain the code which made it possible from index and in CSS to have our logo that way? Um, according to you, which is the best way to learn? Doing it while being taught or watching it and doing it later? So the way I learned is basically what you guys are doing now, but I was watching videos. So as someone is teaching, I'm coding along, and then at the end you play around to see what changes what, and then you start figuring out that, oh, this does this, oh, this does that. But I was doing everything together with whoever was teaching, which was videos I was watching. Okay, let's continue. So now let's style our nav menu. Thank you for the follow. So we'll add this, give it a display flex, right? And this time, since our nav menu, remember this is now our nav menu, so we're styling this specific list, okay? Styling this specific list. So we're giving it a list style. We're removing the list style. So the fact that it was a list, we're moving any style towards a list. You see how it's not um it doesn't have the dots anymore. But if we had to remove this, you'll see how everything is still below one another. So that's what the flex does. It starts putting items horizontally. So if we re-add this, you'll see now everything is next to one another. So we are getting to what we want to do. Okay, then gap is now just adding space in between each item. Okay, so here we just thank you for the follow, Batu. Add a gap of 30 pixels, so this will now add some spacing in between each element right there. So it adds some spacing between each element, and then we'll just align our items to the center. Of course, dream bad is not sure. I'm with the darkest here. So yeah, perfect. So as we add items, it will always stay centered on this side of the screen, while this also stays center. So right now it's just two elements in a container that are centered, and this is its own container which has items that are also centered. ticks and the streaks I'm already verified. Verified. Okay, that's the nav menu. Are we still good? I hope we're still good. Now what we want to do, we want to now be able to edit. We want to remove this awkward lines because it's a hyperlink. So we want to style this a bit, remove these lines and make some changes. So to do that, we know we've got a class called nav menu, and we know we've got list items and hyperlinks. So the way they normally do it is they'd say dot nav menu, and then they say li, then they say a. But you see how long this is. So this is very long. So all you can do is you can just remove this extra step and just put a. So what it will do, it will look for nav menu, and it will look for the second element wherever it is. So even if it's in 3 different lists, it will look for it and find it. As you can see, this hover, it says element, whatever's in between, and find a. So now it found the hyperlink, and we make changes instead of having to put a selector icon of selecting nav menu li whatnot. You just use that to make it easier. So what we'll do, we'll remove the text decoration. Text decoration removes that line. So let's go back and see. So you see that line is now gone. So now the line is gone. We don't see that line anymore. And then we can add a color. Uh, so we'll use this color, and then we'll just give it a font size. Sorry, font weight, I'm lying. This is the boldness. So how light it is or how bold it is. So 500, or you can actually say lighter, bold, extra bold, whatever you want. So there you go. So now we've got our color, we've got it a bit light, which is 500 the weight. And yeah, this is our nav bar complete. Okay, but we still have to change a few more things. All right. So I hope we're still together. We're continuing. We'll ask questions after this lesson. So let's just finish, and then we'll ask questions and we'll move on to the next lesson. Okay, now we want to make changes to when an item is being hovered on. So this is where we start using pseudo classes. Okay, so we can say hover. So this is a pseudo class called hover. So it says that when the user's mouse is in a state of hover on this item, do something. So what we wanted to do is to change color so that the user can see that, oh, I'm hovering over this item and it's selectable, because we don't want them to just hover over and they cannot see the difference that, oh, this actually I can click on it. So like when you hover over something on Google or something, it will show darkened a bit so you can see that this is a clickable item. So we'll just give this a color. It will be I think a darker color of our actual, or it will be a color of what we have in our logo. So you'll see it like this, and then all you can do is when you hover, it will change the state of the element to have this color. So the element itself will now become a color of white. So another thing you could do is maybe you want the text size to be a bit bigger. So you could change text size as well. um why am I saying text size? Font size. Say, let's say when a person hovers, you want it to go a bit bigger. So as soon as they hover, it goes bigger. You see how it happens? As soon as they hover, it goes bigger. So that's just saying on this state, something must happen. You must do whatever I've added in here. So yeah, we don't need the font size, but if you want to add that, you can. Hover full. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, now we want to make changes to this one, this cut. So we gave this a class of cut link. so we can make individual changes to it specifically instead of having it same as the others, right? So dot cut link, dot cut link, and then we'll add a background color, same color as our logo, and then the color of the text, have this as white. I see. And they're holding hands. Then give it a padding, 8 pixels top and bottom, 16 pixels left and right. So to do that easy, just say 8px, 16px. So this will take your, what is it, x-axis, and that will be your y-axis. Why am I saying pad ding? All right, then border radius just adds like a border radius, like a corner button. We'll have a border radius of 20 pixels, and change the font size to 14 pixels. So there you go. So now it's added a background color. We've changed the border radius to have a border radius of that much, which is 20 pixels. If maybe you set fifth, what, 10, it would be less. So you see now it's like a bit of a rectangle. So you can play with it however you'd like and however you want it to look. So this is what we have so far. Cool. And then we can add a hover for this as well. The So hover can go on any of the classes. It's a pseudo class, so it just says that once this class or element is there, as soon as this state happens, something must happen to it. Background color. This is what 2563B. So it's just like a darker color on hover. And that takes us to cut. Okay. So let's go back because we're done with this lesson now. So let's go back and see. So this is what we should have done. So the first thing we did was we learned removing the CSS reset. So that's what we see all the way at the top. This is the reset. So this is us removing all inconsistencies in default browser style. So browsers normally have like default padding or margins. So we remove all of that so that we've got a nice clean slate to work on. Then Flexbox help us arrange items in rows. So it makes our items, we turn them into rows. So if it's horizontal, vertical, we just make them horizontal into rows. Box shadow adds some drop shadows so that it looks elevated. And then this position fixed keeps our nav bar to stay at the top even if we're scrolling, so it will never move there. And then hover effects, like I said, it makes the site, makes the user feel like that this button is clickable, something happens on this. So if you add some effects, they can see that, oh no, this does something. So it makes your site feel interactive. Then we saw that colors, don't worry, yes, it's normal. We'll get to that. It's normal. So someone asked, why is my shop now still below navbar? It will still be below navbar because we haven't done any styling changes to it. So that will be next now. So colors can be written as white or as hex code. So if you know the hex code, you can add the hex code. If you don't know the hex code, you can just write the color. But hex code allow us to be more specific with the color we want to use. Okay, cool. Now let's commit. So we're done with that. Let's let's commit. So let's go to our GitHub desktop. We should see our changes right here. Okay, load. There we go. So now we've got our style.css. So the first thing we can do is we can say we styled the home page. So we just say we styled the home page and the nav bar. All right. So we just styled home page and nav bar. Someone asked why using important. So this important is to say that if any other color is or any other styling is added to this by mistake, or you have added that style, this will always take priority over that other style. So this will always take priority. So you know how we've got this color there, we've said that the color in our whole file should be gray, but we want this to be white. So we just want to make sure that it's important that this color stays as white. It must take priority over any other color. So as long as there's an important, no other color will take over the specific color there. Okay, let's commit, guys. Where was I? Yeah, so I was just writing a description. So that's your commit description there. Yes, I would love to use CMD, but these are beginners, so this makes it easier for them. Okay, cool. We just see our changes. If we're happy with what we've done here, we can just click on commit. So we can, yeah, we do use terminal. I do have git bash on here, but it's easier for them to understand what is it? GitHub desktop. It's quicker. So I do have GitHub desktop here. I mean GitHub git bash. Okay, after doing our commit, let's push it and then we move on to the next. Oh, I didn't add the lesson, but it's fine. It's fine because we should have said lesson 3, then do whatever, but it's fine. Okay, so now it's pushing to GitHub. Okay, we're done. Perfect. So on my side, these should move now. There we go. So we're done with that. We've created our nav bar, and this is what we have so far. Wait for it to load. Okay, yeah, there we go. So this is what we have so far. Now we want to move on to the next part. So the next part is our header. So I want to edit our header now. So let's style our hero. Sorry, our hero. Keep calling it header. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to our style CSS. Now we're doing our header. Everyone is together, right? We can continue. YouTube, TikTok. Yeah, yebo. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's continue. Okay, now we're on lesson 4. So now we're doing our hero section styling. So let's start with that. So we'll do our hero. Okay, So first thing we'll do is we'll add a background color or background, and this background will be a linear gradient. So what a linear gradient is, it's basically two or more colors blended together. So we've got horizontal and linear. So first thing we're doing is we're changing the degrees or the angle at which the gradient is moving from. Then we add the colors we'll be working with. So first one is F6, right? And the second one 1D, 4E, D8. What color is this? Oh, okay. So it will do a gradient between these two specific colors. That will be the background. Then we'll just change the color of the text to white. Okay. And align our text to the center. Alright, so we'll add padding. It's what left, 10p and 100p, and a margin, only one margin at the top. So the reason we're adding a margin top is so we can bring our elements down. So you see how it would have been underneath this. So we're just giving it some space, 70 pixels to be below or to come down a bit. Oh wow. Okay, cool. Let's continue. So if you can see the color, it's not much of a gradient. I know, I got you, my G. I got you. It's not much of a, but you can see that it goes from light to a bit dark. So it goes from light to a bit dark. And now we just gonna continue. So we're done with that. So uh yeah, so we added our background, which is a linear gradient. So you could change it to whatever you want. So if maybe your styling or your theme for the actual site is something different, you change it. But yeah, uh now let's do our H1. So the reason we're not doing H1 on its own, we don't want to change each and every other H1 within our HTML document. So we only want the H1 in our hero tag. So font size would be 48 pixels. Wendy Uzofiga. We all started somewhere. And then okay, so we're adding how much is our font weight? Making it bold. So we're changing our font size of this H1 to be 48 pixels, so it'll be a bit big. And then we want to add a margin at the bottom, so below the H1 element to be 20 pixels, and we want the font weight of this text to be bold. So that's what we've done there, and then we can check how that looks. There we go. So it's made it a bit bigger and bold. All right. My arm is getting very sore. Now let's change our hero paragraph. So in our hero, we've got a paragraph. So we're just going to do some styling into that. Just going to change the font size and margin bottom. So we also add margin at the bottom of this, 20 pixels, 30. Okay, there. So it's spaced it out a bit nice. Spaced it out just a bit nice. So this is what we've got so far. Right, now we want to do our button styling. So we've got a button shop now. Now we want to style that. So we do .btn. Now we'll start styling that. So we'll first have a display, an inline block, and then background color, of white. What color is it? 3B. 3B. So this is like our primary color basically. When you look at 3B, just think of it as our primary color for this site. So we use our primary color, add a padding, 12 pixels and 30 pixels. And then text decoration, we don't want any because we know it's a hyperlink. Deco. So we just say text decoration none to remove all the text decoration. Then we want to add a border radius, 5 pixels, font weight bold, and a transition. So we've went quite deep into transitions here, but we'll get to that just now. I'll show you what it means because that'll be the next that'll be in the next styling we'll be doing now. But let me quickly show you what we have. So this is what we have so far. So we've got our shop now. Can I just change these songs that are playing here? Okay. Okay, cool. Now, what we did here, we added a transition, and this transition is going to only be executed once our pseudo state um thingy works. So once we start using our on hover dot btn hover, so this once this happens, this transition gets executed. So what we want to do is we'll add a background color. This is what F8 FA. We don't have it yet. F8 FA and FC. That's a weird color. No, I was about to say transform. So this just does something. So basically, like it moves the element somewhere. So we want to transform the y-axis -2 pixels. So -2 pixels, I think, should be moving down. Or is it up? I think, yeah, up. Let's see. Yeah, so you see how it just moves up just a bit. So that's -2 pixels up. So when someone hovers, it moves it up. You can't see my mouse actually on TikTok. I did not know that. Why? Okay, I'll check it for next time. I hope it's not disturbing that you can't see it. But yeah, so this is what we have so far. We've got our nav bar, we've got our hero. So here sometimes there's like what you call these sliders where you'll see different products, and then a person can click on that, it will link them to that specific product. Okay, let's continue. Where is it now? Okay, so what we've done now, we're basically done with this lesson 4. We've added a linear gradient, which does some color, basically blending of colors. Margin top, that margin top we added right here. That's what pushes everything down so that it's not behind the actual nav bar. And then we've got transition, which transition makes the hover effect smooth instead of instant. So it transitions the hover effect. So if we add on a hover effect to say move up, it will transition it nice instead of just immediately moving up. So you see how as we hover, it's like a nice subtle movement. And then transform translate y moves elements up or down. So you could move it, you could do translate x, which is x axis left or right, y is up and down. Okay, grade R, not 4. YouTube, are you guys good? I know you guys get it quick. BQ, I'm happy you actually enjoying. That's the main idea. That is the main idea. Okay, so now we're doing lesson. Oh, we have to commit first. Lesson 4. Okay, let's start commit. So we're done. Now we need to commit. So this is, let's wait for our changes. Perfect. Here's our changes. So now it tells us that we removed this and we added some more stuff, right? So commit will be lesson 5 hero section styling. Hero section styling. Perfect. Oh, what's that now? The heck? How does this move? Oh, okay. Hero section styling. Then you can click on commit. Once you've given it, you can add a description if you want, but yeah, we just focus. No, not all the time. Not git add dot all the time. So if you're using git, you'd use let me try and show you quickly. Okay, no, I think there's git on here. So let me show you. Let's make a change here. Oh, why is git so slow right now? It's gonna waste my time actually. No, it's fine. So what I'll say is git add dot is if you are sure that every file that you're committing is what you want to commit, because that will add every single file that has changes in your version control. If you want to add specific files, it's git add, then the file name, git add file name. So you don't add git, you don't do git add dot if you want to. Let's say you were working on a feature which touched something else, but you know you only want to commit 2 files. So you have to say git add those 2 files, then git push whatever. Then once you're happy with the other files, git add those files. Or if you know that everything is must go at once, it's git add dot. So let me see. Here, see right now I've got some changes, right? These are not staged for commit. So if I wanted to add these, I just say git add, then I'll put this name, index, and then you'd add it. It's not always, but once you've done your first push to origin main, then once you just do git push, it will automatically choose main unless you're on a different branch. So git add, let's see if it's added. Yeah, so you see now changes to be committed. So now you've got it ready to be committed. So I just say git commit dash m small change to index.html. Right, perfect. So I've done my commit. So now I've got one commit or two commits because it's that one that we did on GitHub desktop, and then we've got this one we just created here on the terminal. So if I said git push here, just git push. I hope I've got the permissions actually to push here. It's very slow. There we go. So now you see it's pushed. So if we come here to GitHub, it should say this should move. Yeah, there. So you see it's moved. So since I used the terminal, the commits, everything is under one version control. So the commits move together. So here they're gone already. So let's see. We've got our latest origin. Yeah, so I hope you guys got that. Cool. Now we're moving to what is it? Lesson what? Lesson 5. Featured product section. Okay, so we're not using terminal for now. Just because it's easier to use desktop for beginners. Okay, let's continue. So let's do our featured section. So now we are working on this part. We're working on this part. So we're just doing the styling for that part, right? So let's first do our dot. Hi Bubbles, thank you so much for the heart me. Featured. And then we're gonna add some padding. Thank you for the heart me. No padding left. Thank you. 80 pixels and 0. Then background. Do we have this color F what? F8? Yeah, we have it. Then we'll just add this background color of F8, FA, FC. That's the same color we have on our button hover. Okay, we're done with that. Then we do a dot featured again. And we want to work on the H2. So now in our H2, let's start by aligning our text to the center. And then we add a font size. 36 pixels. Margin bottom 50 pixels. And a color. 1E, do we have it? No. So it's 1E293B. Alright. That's it. Let's go see how it looks. Okay, so you see this darkish white. That's what we have, and this is our featured products right there. Now we want to do our project grid. We won't see at the moment because we don't have any products. So let's quickly see where's our CSS. Oh, we'll get to JavaScript. Let's just do the CSS. Cool. Let's do the CSS first. Okay, now we're adding a dot. We're working on the products grid. Oh, okay. Yeah, so what we're doing here, we want a grid, right? So we'll give it a display grid because our elements will be in a grid format. And our grid template columns. Oh, grid. we'll have repeat auto fit min max, and we want it to be 300 pixels. Yo, I forgot what one FR is again. One FR. I forgot what one FR is. One FR. One FR. Oh, sorry guys, let's continue. I'm trying to remember this one FR thing. Okay. And min max. Oh, I said min man. Min max. Fraction. Thank you. Yo. Gikhoke goed. Like I forgot it. So Christopher equal. Oh, this is 300 pixels wide, the minimum. So min max takes two parameters, or two parameters. The first one would be your minimum, which is 300 pixels wide, and then the one FR, which is fraction, like what's his name? What's this Batu said? One fraction would be one available space. Yeah, so one fraction grows to full available space equally. I should have actually added that as well. But yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. Let's continue with this. Then we're adding a gap. Thank you, Batu. All right, cool. We've done that. That's our product grid. Then let's do our product card. So this is now us styling the card itself. So we'll have a background of white, and then border radius. So it's just to give it like a rounded border for our cards. And then box shadow. We don't want any horizontal effect. We want a vertical effect, and then some blur radius, and then the color RGBA. Again, it will be 0, 0, 0, 0.1. Cool. Overflow hidden, and then transition. Again, is what we did before. We're gonna transition the transform. This will be the transform attribute. 0.3 seconds eased, and then where we use it is going to be in the next one, which is dot product card hover, and we want transform translate the y-axis, and we want it negative, is it -5 pix. Right, cool. So even if you go check on your browser, you're not going to see these changes yet until we insert our JS. So let's just continue and then we'll come back. So let's just type product image. This will be where your image will be. You want the width of the image to stay 100%. So take up all available space in the y-axis. And you want the height to be a fixed height. So we want the height to be 200 pixels. Object fill. So we want it to fill as, not fit, fit as cover. And background color. E2, do I have E2? No. Hashtag E2, E8, F0. All right. Okay, so we've done our product image. Then we'll do product info. Let's just have a padding 20 pixels. So all around, 20 pixels all around. And the next one is our title. So next is product title. So that's the title we have for each of our products. So the styling for this will have a font size of 18 pixels. Font size of 18 pixels, a font weight of bold. So we want the font to be bold. My image is not working. And then we want margin bottom. We want 10 pixels at the bottom. So this will be like at the end of between the description and the title. And then color 1E. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. All right, cool. So that's our product title. And now we'll just work on the product description. So next is dot product. Please make sure you spell correctly, that it's the same as, oh, I'm not even gonna see that yet. Okay, product description. This will, all of these. So basically from here, everything from here going down will be added with the JavaScript DOM manipulation stuff. So we've got our description. Description will have a color. Our color will be hashtag 6. Do I have 6? No, 6474EB 8B 64748B. And then a font size of 14. Font size of 14 and a margin bottom 15 pixels. Okay, cool. So we're done with our product description. Now we just want to change the price. You can just say product price. And if our product price, we'll give it a font size of 20 pixels. Font weight, bold, color. I'm going to create a product.json for these. They don't know JSON yet, so we're gonna have the JSON within the script.json script.javascript. So in our JavaScript file, we'll have the products there. But I think that would also be a good idea to show them how an API would work with the response of a JSON format. Yeah, that could be next. But I want us to actually move on after this to actually do integration with Firebase. No sequel for them to actually try that as well. Okay, our color is hashtag 3B82, our primary color. And then our margin bottom is 15 pixels. Okay, then we'll have product actions. So this is what you can do with the product. You'll see it when we do the JS. Product actions. We want these to be in a display flex, so horizontal, and have a gap of 10 pixels each. It's actually quite a few items. Okay, after product actions, we want to do our button. So there will be a button small. Yo, conjure this stuff called streaks. Oh, so many messages. Oh. Sorry guys, give me 2 seconds. Okay, we almost there. We have so many. Yo. Mm, okay. So guys, I was saving streaks before I get killed. Okay, with my life now. Alright, we can continue. We're by button small. So let's add button small. Alright. So for this one, we'll add some padding. The padding will be 8 pixels and 16. Then we'll have a font size, 14 pixels, flex 1. Then our button primary, background color. That's what our primary color. Okay, background color will be our primary color. Then the text will be white. All right. Then we want our background, our button primary, to have hover effects. And these hover effects, we want the color to change. So the color will change to 25. So it's hashtag 25. How? Hashtag 2563EP. And then that's for the button primary. Then let's do button secondary. Button secondary. This will have a background color of hashtag E2 E8F0. And the color hashtag 334155. That'll be the color of the text. Then we have dot button secondary hover. So we want a hover effect as well on this one. The background color should change. Background color will change to hashtag CD or CBD5E1. That's what the background color will change to. Then that's about it. Okay, so now let's try and see what we just did. 14. So what we just did is we use the CSS grid to automatically arrange the products in rows and columns. Then auto fit and min max, what we were doing up there by the grid. Is it? Yes, here, auto fit and min max. That will make our grid responsive, so it adapts to screen size. So if you've got a big screen which can fill 4 products, it will have 4 products, but the moment the screen shrinks, it will try and fill up as much as it can, but the moment one can't fill, it will move it to the next line. Then it will have 3 and 4, I mean 3 and 1, and so on and so forth. If there's only space for 1, there'll be 1. All right. And then we've got object fit cover. So this keeps our images from stretching weirdly. So you know how if maybe you've got a smaller image and when you add it, it looks stretched. So this stops it from actually stretching. Then overflow hidden prevents content from spilling out of rounded corners. And then flex one, the flex one we added here by the button small. This makes the button grow to fill the space equally. So whatever space available, it makes it grow to fill it equally. So now let's commit. That was lesson 5. We've done our products grid. So let's go to our GitHub desktop. Wait, any questions? I need to do this every day. My GitHub will look very nice with commits. Let me see my commits. Eee, that's very bad. Very crazy. So you see, this needs to grow. It's what we use GitHub for. This is a nice flex when you've got green all over. But okay, cool. Let's continue. So there was no one asked for questions, so let's move on. Let's commit. So this was lesson 5. So lesson, please can I see the last color you made? Here's the colors. Yes, so GitHub will combine all the code into one thing. It'll just have different commits, so you've got different versions. So if you say, H, this recent version doesn't work, you can revert to the previous version, and then you don't lose, like, you don't like overwrite all the code and now everything is lost and you have to rewrite everything. Okay, BQ, are you good now? I'm gonna commit now. So this is lesson 5. Here we did our products, our featured products. Styling. Featured product styling, okay? So we done our featured product styling, and then we can commit one file to main. It's now just us committing to our main. We can have branches, but yeah, we'll do branches maybe in the next one. Cool. We're done with that, and you can just say push origin. So this is now pushing to GitHub online. Perfect. So we're done with that. We can actually go see our GitHub repo, how many commits we have so far. So there we go. We've got like 8 commits. So you can see we've got these, there's times and all that. So here you can also see what languages you worked with. So we've got mostly CSS, meaning we've done a lot of CSS in this project, 52%, and then 47% is HTML. That's some cool thing you can actually see. Okay, cool. Now let's move on to the next one. This is the footer styling. Oh, this is actually very quick. So now we're doing our footer. Okay, yeah, let's do our foot. Oh, did we commit? We did, no? Let me see. Yeah, we did. Why is this not showing? Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's go. Now we're doing our footer. So our footer was named footer.footer. And then we'll just add a background color. What's the color? 1E. Hashtag 1E 293B. And then the color of the text will be white. And our text will be aligned to the center. Then the padding, we want 40 pixels and 0. Let's see. Why is it showing red? Oh, I forgot my colon here. Yeah, no, I'll do that. The next one actually, I'll make sure they're available so they can do that. All right, cool. So let's see what we did. This was a quick line of code. So now we have our footer. There's our footer. It's a dark footer, tech vibe, whatever. So maybe we want this to be bold. A quick when to do that is you can go to your index and then you can just cover this in a strong. What's a strong or B? I know it's 2 of them. Strong or B. Have fun. Yeah, it is bolder, right? Yeah. Guess I'm seeing my own things. Ne? Angas. Cool. Let's continue. It's fine. You can add a strong. I think it's B or strong. I always forget, man. It's B or strong. Ah, it was B. Yes, you see, because that one turned all of them. So it's B. So use B to make just that bold or whatever. Okay, cool. We're done. We can make our promotes. Yeah, it's the same. The problem is I saw it made everything bold at once. That's the thing. All right, let's continue. So we can commit. So we can just say this is lesson 6, and this will be footer styling. footer styling, and then commit. If you made changes to that boldness, you'll have two files. If you didn't and you don't want to, it'll be one file. So we can just commit our files, commit our files, and then push origin. Is everyone still following? YouTube, are you guys following? TikTok, are you guys following? Yes. Right, let's continue. Mm, mm, mm. Now, the next part, let's go back to our browser and see. Why does Git keep opening up here? Set later. So we're done with our footer styling. Now, our products page. So we need to now create our products page. All right. So now we'll be working on this. We'll be working on that. Let's continue. Let's go to our files and go to our products.html. Products.html. Where's this thing now? So what we can do is we can copy our entire index.html. So you can just do Control A, copy the entire index.html, paste it into your products.html, then remove all these sections that we have here except for the navbar, the hero, everything, and we'll keep the footer. All right, so just remove everything after navbar and before footer, then you have it like this. You can change this at the top there to be products. All right, then let's start. First thing, we'll have a main, and this will have a class of main content. All right, main content. Then we'll add a div. This div will be a container, class container. And then an h1. Our h1 will be our products. This will be a class of page title. Alright, then let's add our buttons. So these are our filter buttons. Alright, now let's add a div with the class called filters. Then in these filters we'll have buttons. So let's just do that shortcut. Okay, no, it's gonna be a bit harder. Let's just write one button. So let's add a button, and this first button will be all. Let's close this. All products. All right, but this button needs a class. So the first class is filter btn and then active. So this is just us saying this button will be the one that's active, and then data category. I keep saying goalie is all. So we're setting that the category for this will be for all products. Then we can just copy this and paste it 3 more times. Remove active. This you'll change it to phones. This will be laptops. And this will be accessories. So this is accessories, laptops, and phones. Cool. So we've added our filter buttons. So we've added our filter buttons. And then after our filter buttons, we need to add our products. So products here. Then here we add a div with the class products grid and an ID products grid. This is for JavaScript to be able to get the element. So we just say JavaScript will populate here. We'll populate the products there. Okay, just like that, that is done. The entire products page is done. Let's see how this product page looks. Go to us HTML here, click on products. Yeah, so we've got our buttons there. Then it will fill our products. Oh, lab props. Laptops. Perfect, laptops. Products come here. I don't have add a space there. There we go. Change laptop text. Oh yeah, thank you. I saw it as I put it there. Thank you, Sfiso. Cool. Now we're done. Let's see what we did here. So here basically, that data category is a custom attribute that JavaScript can read. So it basically says that when that button's clicked, JavaScript will read that which data category we are now looking at. Span with an ID. Oh, we missed that part. So we missed something at the top. I don't know how I didn't see it. So here, we need to change this to be a span element. So we say span. I don't know how I missed it. With an ID, card count. I didn't complete it there. Card count. Yeah. Let me see it quickly. Yeah, so it's been 0. Yeah, so you just add the text there 0. So this is now us saying this will be changing using JavaScript. So it's in the brackets, you'll have span ID card count 0 and close your span. So the same way you had just 0 there, replacing that 0 with the span stuff. All right. Okay, cool. So like it said, oof, we've got the span with an ID card count, which will be updated by JavaScript. So if you've got 5 in the cart, it will update that to show 5. Then the main tag is semantic HTML for the main content area. So we're just saying that this is the main content area. All right. Now let's do our commit for lesson 7, which is adding products page. So here we'll say adding products page. Then commit one file. Nobody. This folder like I'm rubbing a bank. And push. Any questions, comments, queries? She saw my drip. She thought it was filling a tank. She should have shot it. Yeah, we might not. There is a lot because I explain as I go. Unless I paste and explain, that might move a bit faster because it's still, but you guys still have to write at the same time, so it's still gonna be a bit pointless. There you go, Vibrant. Yeah, let's continue. I think you should be fine by now. Now we're on lesson 8, product page styling. So now we're doing the styling for this product page. So we already linked it. So let's move on to our CSS and start. Sorry, the music. Let's start. Main content. We want a margin top of 70 pixels. Okay. Then want a padding 60 pixels and 0. Then we want a minimum height. Here we're calculating our minimum height, right? So we're calculating that 100% of the view height, so the entire view height minus 140 pixels. So it will do a calculation of the entire view height, right? So the VH is view height, so meaning the entire view. So if your desktop is uh what's 800 pixels wide, it will be 800 minus 140. So it does 100 view height minus 140 pixels. The cut count. Here's the cut count. Okay, I'm continuing. Okay, after main content, the next part is the page title. So dot page title, text align, and here we want it centered. We want a font size 36 pixels, and then margin bottom of 40 pixels. Then some color, 1E29, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So that's it with the main content stuff. Now we're moving on to the filter buttons. So we'll start with dot filters. We have it as display flex. At display flex, justify content, center, a gap, 15 pixels, margin. Oof, want the margin bottom to be 40 pixels, and a flex wrap of wrap. That's the filters right there. Okay, let's move on to the filter button. So for filter button, we're at a padding of 10 pixels, 20 pixels, then a background color, 8, background color, and then add a color 64748B, and a border none, and a border radius of 25 pixels. The cursor, meaning when the cursor goes onto this button, it should be a pointer. And then font weight must be 500, and transition, we want all to transition at 0.3 seconds on ease. Okay, now let's do our pseudo classes. Okay, so for dot filter button, we want the hover, and then the dot filter button again. Is 2025. What do you mean? Coding Jane, what do you mean? Dot active. So what we're doing here, we're gonna use the same styling for if the button state has hover, as well as the button is active. Okay, so what we're doing is we want a background color, hashtag 3B, so that's our primary color, and a color of white. And we are done with our style. Let's go see how it looks. This is what we have. So when it's active, it will be this color. On hover, it will be this. Once you click on it, it should change to active. The other goes back to normal. So this is what we have so far. Our products will be populated, but it's looking nice. I hope you guys are still motivated to actually finish it. But this is how far we are. It's our product. So if we go to home, this is our home. If we click shop now, there's our products. We don't see products yet because we haven't gotten to the JavaScript part yet, but there we are. Are we all good? Because we're done with this one. So to explain this one, like I said, the calculator does math in CSS. So like I said, 100 is 100% view height, meaning your screen height, minus whatever you want. So you wanted the full screen height minus 140 pixels. This flex wrap allows items to wrap to the next line on small screens. So if this goes smaller, it will wrap to the next screen. You see how it moves down? So that's what the flex wrap does. Do you see the cut? What it's doing? Huh, need to fix that cut. But yeah, so see why testing is important. But there, that's what the wrap does. So now let's commit. So what we just did is our product page styling. So that was lesson 8. We're on lesson 9. Let's at least do lesson 9 so we can see our products. Are we still together? Lesson 8, products page styling. Okay, let's commit and then we push. Are we still together, everyone? Yes. How long have it been? 3 hours. What? Okay, cool. Let's move on to lesson 9. Now we're doing JavaScript. Like, if you're still here and you're still coding with me, this part you need to be very, very attentive. Because, yeah, this is the JS part now. So if you can be as attentive as possible, please.